Welcome to The Explainer. We're jumping right into a focused 8-minute dive into the Detroit Lions and Cincinnati Bengals matchup, and we're going to uncover the true stakes of preseason football.
So let's just start with the most obvious question. Why should we even care about a game that doesn't officially count in the standings? Look, for the casual fan, it's super easy to just brush off the preseason. You don't see the superstar quarterbacks, the play calling is pretty vanilla, and yeah, the execution can be a little sloppy at times, but if you look just beneath the surface, there is an absolute ton of drama, high-stakes strategy, and literally career-defining moments happening on every single snap.
Here's how we're breaking this down today. 1. The preseason paradox. 2. Detroit's offensive depth. 3. Cincinnati's roster battles. 4. The backup quarterback factor. 5. Battle in the trenches. And 6. The final prediction.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the preseason paradox, high stakes in meaningless games. Now, calling these games meaningless just because they don't count towards the regular season, that couldn't be further from the truth. Teams are out there actively evaluating raw talent, they're building crucial locker room chemistry, and they're making incredibly tough, down-to-the-wire decisions on those final roster spots. You have to remember, NFL training camp rosters sit at 90 players, but they have to be brutally slashed down to 53 before week 1. So, for the guys on the field, this isn't just a glorified scrimmage, it's a high-stakes survival game. Every single block, tackle, and route is a literal audition to secure a livelihood in the NFL.
Moving right along to Section 2, Detroit's offensive depth and evaluating the Lions system.
Okay, so Detroit has very intentionally built this fierce reputation for punishing physical football, mixed in with sudden explosive plays. That is their core identity. Everyone in the league knows exactly what they're walking into when they play the Lions. We're talking grinding out those bruised up yards between the tackles and a swarming, aggressive defense that wants to dictate the tempo. They aren't a finesse team, guys. They are built to physically exhaust you by the time the fourth quarter rolls around.
And when you contrast that explosive identity with what they're actually trying to do in the preseason, the coaching staff's top priority becomes crystal clear. They aren't trying to reinvent the wheel out there. They are laser-focused on seeing if the undrafted rookies and the depth guys can step in and uphold that exact same standard of physicality. They want to know for sure if the second and third stringers can execute a heavy block or deliver a massive hit without the team's overall intensity skipping a beat. Flipping over to the other sideline for Section 3, Cincinnati's roster battles, fighting to change the depth chart. Now, the Bengals step onto the field with sky-high expectations every single year. This is a team built to win right now, sitting right in the middle of a legitimate championship window. Because they're actively chasing a ring, the pressure is on from the very first snap in August. Every fringe player knows they aren't just trying to make a team, they have to prove they belong on a highly competitive, contending roster where the margin for error is razor thin. And here's the beautiful thing about the preseason. With the biggest stars wearing baseball caps on the sidelines to avoid injury, this massive window of opportunity opens up. A backup can step under those stadium lights and literally change their team ranking with just a couple of good drives. Think about an undrafted running back who gets maybe 3 carries in the fourth quarter. If he hits the hole hard, breaks a tackle, and rips off a 40-yard run, he could literally leapfrog a multi-year veteran by the time coaches pull up the film on Monday morning. It is a crazy, fleeting chance to totally rewrite their story.
Which brings us to Section 4, the backup quarterback factor. This is arguably the most important insurance policy in sports. I mean, we all know it. Injuries are just an unavoidable reality of the NFL. It is a 100% injury rate sport. And when a starting quarterback goes down, a franchise's entire trajectory can shift in a heartbeat. That is why a strong performance from a backup is so incredibly valuable. A capable backup is literally the difference between a totally ruined season and a miraculously salvaged one that keeps a team alive in the playoff hunt.
So we get to watch this QB evaluation process happen in real time. Step 1, coaches watch who actually earns the reps on the field. Step 2, once they're out there, how well do they command the huddle, read the defense, and move the chains? And Step 3, who steps up and fundamentally changes their future? It's pretty wild to think about, but one incredible preseason game can elevate a guy from the practice squad bubble straight into a secure, long-term NFL job.
All right, moving into Section 5, battle in the trenches where the game is won. Now, quarterbacks and wide receivers are always going to steal the spotlight and the headlines. But the real foundation of any winning roster, it's built on those massive, often overlooked offensive and defensive linemen. That's where a team's sheer raw physicality is truly tested. I mean, you can have all the elite speed in the world on the outside, but if you can't block the guy right in front of you, the play is dead before it even starts.
Down in the mud of the trenches, coaches are demanding three things on every single snap: brute physicality, flawless technique, and unwavering consistency. It's not just about being the biggest guy out there. It's about hitting your specific assignment perfectly, with the right leverage over and over again. And you've got to do it when you're completely gassed in the fourth quarter of a humid August game. Coaches are looking for the guys who stand tall when their lungs are burning and their legs feel like concrete.
Because here's the universal truth of football. Whoever controls that line of scrimmage dictates the pace of the game and secures a massive advantage. If your defensive line is pushing the pocket or your offensive line is paving huge running lanes, literally everything else gets easier. Win the war up front and the whole playbook just opens up for you.
And that leads us to our final stop, Section 6, the final prediction. Who actually has the edge here?
Well, with the star players seeing very limited action, this game is going to be decided by those hidden micro battles. The final score is probably going to come down to a rookie making a massive play on special teams, a second-year player taking a big leap forward, or some overlooked backup just having an absolute breakout night. Imagine an unknown pass rusher suddenly dropping 3 sacks and a half. That's exactly how these preseason matchups get decided.
When you weigh it all out, you've got the Detroit Lions bringing their relentless physical style and some seriously deep roster talent. They can roll out backup units that still play with unbelievable grit. On the other side, the Bengals are bringing high-end, explosive talent, and they constantly have the potential to just break the game wide open with one big play down the sideline.
So, based on how these two distinct styles clash, we're giving the Lions a slight edge here. Since preseason relies so heavily on those second and third string guys, Detroit's brand of physical attrition and their deep roster could totally be the difference maker, especially if those young guys execute that grinding system well. But look, the Bengals have enough raw, game-breaking talent to keep this super competitive. Just one flash of brilliance could flip the whole outcome in a second.
So, what do you think? Will raw talent outshine systematic grit when the lights come on? Drop your prediction in the comments below. And the next time you find yourself watching a quote-unquote meaningless preseason game, I want you to ask yourself, whose entire career is changing on this very snap? Thanks for hanging out with us for this 8-minute explainer. We'll see you next time.